Hello and welcome to Drag Me with me, Leeja Miller, your lost bisexual friend who has no idea what she's talking about. Today we're reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 7, Episode 4. We got Fairytale Justice, and the category is Spikes on the Runway. Things are starting to heat up. Episode 4, there's 12 in total, so we are well underway. Reminder of where we stand. Monet Exchange has a star. Trinity Tuck has a star. Jinx Monsoon has a star. Jada Essence Hall now has a star. And of course, Shea also has a star. Reminder, there's 8 queens, so that means we got 5 queens with stars, 3 queens, no stars. Those 3 queens are 𝗬𝗦𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏𝗏, the Vivienne, and Raja. Now, if you've been following along, you know Raja's kind of been a standout for me, and she has yet to get a star. So I wanted to see something big and exciting for her. I feel like last week she got so close to being the top 2. Literally the thing that stood between her and being in the top was a slightly thicker pencil mustache, and that is upsetting, to say the least. All right. So it seems as though the trend is we're going to just keep giving people who don't already have stars a star. No one has 2 stars yet. I feel like when that happens, things are going to start getting really, really serious. But for right now, it feels like we're just like slowly giving 1 star to each queen. And I don't know how I feel about that. This week, however, I don't agree with the outcome. Okay, let's get into why. Okay, so this week the Maxi Challenge was Fairytale Justice Improv. Improv on Drag Race sometimes makes me a little sweaty. I mean, it makes me sweaty generally because if it's good, it's really good and I have a good time, but if it's bad, it is really bad. Okay, I grew up watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like, those people are extremely talented and would pull things out of their hats that was just like shockingly funny, and I don't know how they did it. So there's a real skill to improv, and I feel like a lot of times there is at least one queen or a handful of queens that fall short where acting and improv is involved on this show. That being said, these were all stars, so they're coming in with a wide breadth of talent, which was frankly refreshing to see. It's always painful to watch some queens just like absolutely bombing it on acting and improv challenges. So happy to report I didn't feel like anyone absolutely bombed, which made it a lot more fun to watch this week. So because Jada and Trinity were the top 2 last week, they got to choose teams for their improv maxi challenge. The choosing teams part of this show also always makes me sweaty. It reminds me of gym class in grade school, which was never a fun time for me as a chubby youth. And so it just brings back those memories, which is no fun for anyone. But of course they do this because there's always drama when this happens because someone has to be last. That Raja was last is not necessarily shocking. I guess I haven't really seen her full acting chops, but she is known, so I've heard, for being a like runway fashion queen. So the acting, I don't know. We saw a little bit of it in Snatch Game and it was like fine, but not like, I don't know. I wasn't fully blown away by it. It didn't necessarily shock me that she was last. You know what I mean? But again, I've said this before, this season feels really different from the other seasons I've watched because these queens are already all-stars and they're all friends, it seems. And so there's not like the heated drama that we saw like in season 14 when there was real bickering and people really getting their feelings hurt. All these queens seem like they're above it, you know, like they are just like, we're here because we're good at this, we love this, and we want more exposure and to win the crown, but we also like are secure in ourselves, which also is refreshing and fun to see. It doesn't make for as much high drama, but like, I don't know, I'm still fully entertained. Okay, so the 2 teams are acting out these kind of fairy tale scenarios. One is the 3 little pigs versus the big bad wolf, and the other one is the Goldilocks and the 3 bears gone awry. Group 1, 3 little pigs with the big bad wolf. Yvie plays the wolf. Jada plays Twiggy, one of the pigs. Monet is a surprise witness, their sister, and Jinx is the dumb little sister, Spare Rib, who is the plaintiff in the case. So the plaintiff, Jinx, is saying that the big bad wolf blew her house down. Jada comes in as a witness to corroborate it, and then the wolf calls out the surprise witness, Monet Exchange, as the 3rd sister, who's also his girlfriend. Drama. Of course, the judge is played by Michelle Visage as a witch, which is absolutely perfect. I mean, they're clearly playing on court TV, Judge Judy type drama here. And yes, I am a lawyer, in case you're new here. Surprise. Hi, I'm a lawyer. I'm not going to get into the logistics of court TV and whether or not this is accurate. I'm going to make a separate video for that on my law channel because that feels like a more appropriate outlet for that content. I thought this was a fun play on court TV. The bailiff as the pit crew guy in a bunny costume, all the animals as the people in the, stands. Funny. It's fun. It's a fun idea. Frankly, I think everyone doing this Three Little Pigs versus the wolf thing, they did a great job. I realized as I was watching it that I was just relaxed and watching it and being entertained. And I think that there's a big difference when you know that the people are good or the people just come in with confidence knowing that they're good. You can, as the audience, relax more and just enjoy yourself. Whereas if someone's coming in and they seem unsure of themselves or they're bombing, as the audience member, it is like, for me at least, because I experience, secondary anxiety, it is painful to watch. It is, I'm on edge, they're on edge, no one's having a good time. And I felt like with this performance, everyone came out. I mean, Jinx came out already funny just with the door closing gag. Like, she's just clearly a natural. I wasn't even thinking like how's she doing? I was literally just watching her and being entertained because she just was a natural and it was flowing so well. Once again, proving that Jinx is really on the top of her game in this competition. I really was skeptical when I first saw all the queens introduced because I didn't know any of them. And everyone was in my comments being like, you're going to love Jinx. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really like the color of her wig, which is all I had to go off of. But yeah, she's very much winning me over. She's smart. She's funny. She's clever. She's really the whole package. You know what I mean? Certainly on the Jinx Monsoon bandwagon now. So she was great. She came out in this kind of patchwork slutty little court suit with the thigh-high boots and the cute little wig. And frankly, even though I don't like her typical wig color, this worked, like the little piggy with the little red hair. I mean, it was funny. And she was just smooth through the whole thing, went with it, did the yes and improv that you're supposed to do, even at the very end when she's getting interviewed by Rupaul and her ear falls off. Like, what a save. Very funny. She made Ru laugh in that moment as she was having an actual wardrobe malfunction. Like, that is a consummate professional that we saw, and it was a joy to watch her. And then we had 𝗬𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗏 as the big bad wolf. She comes out in this like floor-length fur coat and these really cool shiny Oxford heels with the sequins, playing this kind of like gangster wolf thing with the gold tooth. And again, I think she nailed it. Really funny, fun to watch. There was the one part where she was like pretending to lick her crotch that seemed to make everyone uncomfortable. But, it fit with the character. And I think she fleshed out a very interesting, well-developed character. I think it was funny. And it was really, again, easy to watch her. I wasn't on the edge of my seat being like, ooh, what's she doing? What's she going to do next? I think she did great. And I think she really held her own, given that it was kind of her playing off of all of these other characters. I think she did a really great job and didn't kind of fade into the background. And then Jada comes out looking absolutely stunning. Even with a pig nose stuck to her face, she looks fabulous. The dress, the hair. I mean, she really fit kind of the vibe she was going for as like the Instagram baddie, basically. And, her performance kind of fell flat for me. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't like, whoa, like Jinx's performance was, for example. But she looked amazing and she held her own and went with it, and it was funny. And then Monet Exchange comes out as the girlfriend. Frankly, I was not awestruck by her performance. She looked great. I loved the white suit with this briefcase. I think it was a funny play off like the sisters, all of them being so different and her being kind of on the other side. I think that was clever, but I just felt like mostly nothing about her performance, which is not really how you're supposed to feel. But overall, really entertaining. I felt like Jinx and 𝗬𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗏 really both stood out in that group for me. Oh, but also Monet and her nose, like just no effort was made to kind of blend it in with the rest of her face. And I think that also took away from the moment for me. And then they go out and they have an interview with Rupaul. I'm not really sure what she's supposed to be, an elf of some sort, but like, I thought it was funny because you really, at least in my experience in the limited drag race that I've watched, you don't often see RuPaul in an embarrassing outfit. Sometimes she plays along, but like she was wearing flip-flops and a tracksuit and elf ears. I'm floored that they got RuPaul into flip-flops, personally, but it was funny. What a fun time. Okay, then we have the Goldilocks story. We got Shea as Mama Bear. She comes out. She looks kind of like a Berenstein bear. She's supposed to be kind of a Karen, very uptight. She's making her porridge. She goes for a walk. And then Goldilocks steals the porridge and falls asleep in her bed. Goldilocks, played by Viv, the Vivian, very sweet, but she's got like porridge all over her face. She comes in skipping like a little girl, but then when she speaks, it's like Scottish accent, which is funny. It's impressive that the Vivian is able to just kind of pull out that accent, and then she kind of shapeshifts as new characters are introduced. And then Raja comes out as the grandmother, saying that, you know, I'm her grandmother. She's Little Red Riding Hood. She's not Goldilocks. She's not who you think that she is. And then Trinity comes out playing the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and she accuses the Vivian, Goldilocks, Hansel, whoever this person is, of eating her front porch and parts of her house. So like, it was a fun idea. Frankly, this one, compared to the first one, was a bit of a chore to watch. Didn't really laugh much. The Vivian, her Scottish accent was fun. I think she, you know, it was a funny concept, but the execution left me wanting. Like, I wasn't blown away. Her other accents were fine. The judges seemed like absolutely gobsmacked by her performance in this, and it really did not do it for me to the extent that I think the judges thought it was. The judges' reactions felt very staged on purpose to push Viv to the top two to get her a win. That's how I felt, because I was not expecting the way that they reacted at the review to the Vivian's performance here. I thought it was fine. It didn't make me laugh that much. The rest of them, Shea Coulee's Berenstein Bear, kind of boring. Raja, not a great actor, overdid it a little bit. There was really not much going on with the character. It felt like she was just redoing one of her Snatch Game characters, but with a slightly different wig and makeup. So again, didn't do much for me. And then Trinity the Tuck as the witch. Kind of weird that she was wearing the exact same thing as Michelle Visage. Seemed like she was having fun, but like, again, it was just like, it didn't feel clever. It didn't feel like there was, you know, as much natural talent brewing in this group as in the first group. So for me, like, this whole performance was like, maybe I wasn't on edge and anxious because people were bombing, but it was like not, you know, a bag full of laughs. You know what I mean? Okay, so that was the Fairytale Justice Maxi Challenge. And then we move on to the runway. Category is spikes on the runway. Y'all, this was a very fun runway for me. There was nothing in here that I was like, ooh, I hate that. And I feel like a lot of the queens really did a great job on this runway. So let's break down the looks. Okay, first we have Jada Essence Hall coming out with all of this like black makeup and then just silver around her eyes and cheekbones and chin, really like making her whole face pop. And she's got this like short black leather, huge shoulders with red detailing and then spikes everywhere. And probably beyond thigh high boots. I don't know if those are full on pants under there, but like, with the spiky wig on top of it all, like, not only did she nail the theme, but she also looked so cool. I think she said it was Grace Jones inspired, who, if you don't know, was this model in the 90s. I mean, she's probably still modeling, but like, she got huge in the 80s and 90s, and she just has this very specific, androgynous, beautiful, very cool look. And I totally get the reference, and I get the 90s vibe of the silhouette. We've seen a 90s vibe from Jada before with her like Matrix pleather look that I freaking loved. And I think she really nails the 90s aesthetic, 90s callback looks. And she nailed it here on this runway. I really loved it. And I thought it was a really creative use of makeup as well. Okay, then we have Jinx come out in this brown velour dress gown with black detailing and then this beautiful, I don't know if that's feathers or what she put in that kind of cape thing that looks porcupine-y. I don't know if it's actually porcupine, probably not, would be my guess, but like something on her back. It looks feathery, it looks ethereal, it looks very chic and beautiful. I don't know what's happening here, but I really love it. And that says a lot because if you remember last week, I said I hate velour velvet type materials, and I hate browns, like this much brown. Like I hated Monet Exchange's brown leather dress, which I know is not a popular opinion, but I don't know, something about a brown dress is kind of gross to me. But this, for whatever reason, really works. I think I love the detailing mainly. The gloves. Mesh gloves, very in right now. The fascinator on her head, the wig. I love the wig. You know, I love a blonde moment. I'm very biased, but she's got the blonde wig, but then there's like strips of that orange that she's known for. And I think this is the perfect compromise between what her wig usually looks like and what I actually like in a wig. So for me, it really worked quite well. I love this look. It's dramatic. It's elegant. I think it's the most elegant we saw on this runway, which is very fun. And it's a fun play on the spike theme. Okay, and then we have Monet Exchange come out in this kind of punk suit. Again, it felt pretty 90s inspired look with the spiked face mask, which is very of the moment, but also like callback to punk time. The punk mohawk, I think it's a really fun look. I love the detailing. I love the silhouette. We've got like this really strong studded lapel, a strong shoulder. It really accentuates her waist. And then the fun hip thing. This is the same hip that I think Shea had last week in her pink dress, the weird flaps. Someone said that it's a peplum, but I don't know. Peplum to me is like all the way around. It kind of poofs out. This hip is like the two like circle pieces on the hips. I'm sure there's a word for it. Maybe it is peplum. I didn't Google it, obviously. I really love the silhouette. I think it looks really elegant and it's a silhouette from an earlier time, like a throwback 1940s, 50s silhouette that she's put on this very 90s punk dual suit sewn together with a chain look. The details are everything for me. I think she really nailed this look. I think it's really smart, it's well done, and it hits the nail on the head, pun intended, for the spike theme. And the pencil skirt and her ass looks great. I mean, it's a good look. And then 𝗬𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧. I literally gasped out loud when 𝗬𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧 came out on that runway. There's something, it's weird, it's shocking, it's surprising, it's statuesque, it's unexpected. It still hits the theme, but it's also so unbelievably creative in a way that like no one could have just come up with other than, I think, 𝗬𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗧. She's wearing that weird green hat with like the spike coming forward. She's got these shoes where she's literally standing on her toes, and then she's wearing what look like thigh-high boots on her hands, and she's walking on them. She looks straight out of like a Salvador Dali painting from hell. She's got this like black corset thing. It's so weird. It accentuates all the like really weird, not weird, but like dramatic proportions of her body, the long legs, the lean waist. I think the judges said the same thing. It's so absurd in a really kind of marvelous way. I loved this look. And of course her makeup, like they commented multiple times, is flawless. The lip detail, the eyebrow detail, I think everything about this look was so unique and fun and fresh for me. This was my favorite of the night. And the way she's walking, it's just like it's out of some horrible nightmare. I love it. Okay, and then we have Trinity Tuck as a vampire with a stake going through her heart and this big, giant kind of collar that goes into a cape moment with a candelabra and these kind of like tassels around her hips and the big red kind of horns. And the cape itself has all this detailing on it. Like, I loved this look as well. You know, I'm a sucker for things that are spooky, ooky, and kooky, and this really nails it. As the judges said, it's a really creative idea. When you think of spikes, this probably isn't the first thing that pops into your head, but it very much is still on theme. It's fun, it's kooky and dark, and I love that shit. Like, this one also nailed it for me. All right, and then we have the Vivienne. She comes out in this baby blue bodysuit with chaps and these like armband like superhero things with the hat with the cross on it. And it's like very BDSM inspired, but in baby blue, which is very unexpected. It's a very cool silhouette. She's got the long nails and she's got the whip that she's like, this is a badass outfit. Certainly my favorite outfit that the Vivienne has worn so far in this competition, in my humble opinion. I think it's interesting, it's smart, it's dark, it's spooky ooky, but also baby blue in an unexpected way. Was it my favorite on the runway? No, but for her, I really liked it. And then we have Raja come out again with the gold. She loves the gold. She's got this kind of kooky looking, almost chastity belt thing on. She's got what looks like armor or like what football players wear under their uniform, you know, padding. What is that called? And then this like purple cape and a ball with the spikes on it. And she's got kind of a crown moment and there's spikes coming out of her shoulders and glitter and the knee-high boots with kind of what look like, I don't know, knee guards or something. And the long purple braid. This one for me kind of fell flat. It looks very costumey. It looks very much like I could go to the Spirit of Halloween or whatever that Halloween store is that pops up everywhere around Halloween time and buy something similar. I think the purple fabric looked kind of cheap to me. It doesn't really fit, like the silhouette doesn't make much sense. It didn't do much for me, which sucks because I'm a huge Raja fan. I love her fashion, but this, because everyone on the runway looked so good, this one for me was the one that fell flat. Didn't work for me. And that's saying something because I'm also a big sucker for gold. Okay, and then Shea Coulee came out as this like purple avatar creature with pointy ears and purple hair and these kind of like little pigtails in front and this skirt that she couldn't walk in and this kind of neon purple blue dress. This one also was like fine. I think that my favorite thing about this was the train, even though it kind of flopped around, the way that she was walking, the movement in the train with the spikes, like was creepy and kind of fun. And that's kind of my favorite part of the whole ensemble. The rest of it, I don't know, there's a lot going on. The concept doesn't feel really solidified to me. I'm not really sure what she's trying to be. And I think Ross Matthews said that too. Like, I don't know what you're being, but it's pretty. It's fine. I don't hate it. It didn't stand out to me though. And it doesn't even bother me that she can't even walk in it. I think that's fine. I think it's funny and like over the top and campy when they wear things that they can't even walk in. But like, if you can't even walk in it, I don't know, I want more volume or something. I don't know what was missing for that, but didn't work for me. Okay, so like I said, loved this runway overall. Yvie Oddly's look for me was so great, so fascinating, so otherworldly, so spooky and weird and unique. It really worked for me this week. Definitely my favorite. Okay, so then when the judges reviewed everyone, they especially loved the Vivienne. They said that her character was just so amazing and she really blew them away with all the different accents. And then her look was just an iconic look that she's going to be remembered for, blah, blah, blah. Okay, listen, I don't have as much Rupaul herstory under my belt. So maybe they're right. Maybe this will be a look that goes down in Rupaul herstory as like her look or whatever. But she wasn't that good. It felt like very manufactured for me this week. It felt not like what was real. Like it felt like the judges saw and experienced something different than I did, which they could have because editing changes the vibe of a lot of things. So I don't know. It for me didn't make sense for Viv to be in the top two this week. It made a lot of sense for Jinx to be in the top two again, because she was a natural at that improv. She looked great. She did great. And on the runway, I think she also looked super elegant and beautiful. And it was a very creative interpretation of the spike theme. I don't think Viv should have been in the top two. I think Yvie Oddly should have been in the top two. She held her own as the wolf. She was funny. It was creative. It was easier to watch her than it was to watch the Vivienne. She seemed like a natural in that kind of like masculine wolf vibe. And then on the runway, it's rare for me to audibly gasp when I see a runway look. It's not my vibe. I keep my feelings on the inside. I'm a good German middle America woman, you know, but I gasped out loud and that deserves a top two. in my opinion. I think she really delivered this week. I feel like Yvie oddly got a little bit robbed. Just saying. These are my thoughts. And she hasn't been on the top 2 either, so it would have been very easy for them to have made her in the top 2 and given her a gold star, like both her and the Vivienne hadn't gotten anything. I don't know. I was a little floored by the results this week. Okay, and then we have Jinx versus the Vivienne. Honestly, even though I don't believe the Vivienne should have been in the top 2, of those 2 lip syncs, I think the Vivienne did deserve to win it. I think she did a great job. She was fun to watch. I feel like Jinx kind of fell flat on this. I don't know why. It didn't feel like she was bringing her all. And the Vivienne like really stood out. She had a really fun performance. I hadn't seen her perform yet, so that was really fun to see. I think she did great, and I think she deserved that win on that lip sync alone between the 2 of them, even though I don't believe she deserved to be in the top 2 necessarily. All right, and then the Vivienne decides to give the golden plunger to Monet Exchange to block her next week. Monet and Jada were the 2 with the stars that hadn't been blocked yet. Jada just won. Monet had won for a while ago and still had that star and hadn't been blocked yet. Like, it was kind of predictable that she blocked Monet at this point because it had been talked about. I personally think I probably would have blocked like Trinity the Tuck. I feel like she's been bringing her A game a bit more than Monet Exchange. And I feel like even though she was already blocked once, that's who I would have blocked. But again, it feels like we're just kind of going down the line. 1 star, 1 block each. I don't know. It feels very staged to me. And someone commented in my last video that like all my conspiracy theories were really ruining it for them, which I don't know. Have you ever been on Reddit before? I'm not even on RuPaul's Drag Race Reddit. And I know that people are on there talking all sorts of stuff. I'm just here having fun, making conjectures. You can agree or you don't agree. Oh, you know, it's just a show. It ain't that deep. We're all having fun here. Okay, and can I say, Jeffrey, what was his? 𝗤𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗏? Boyer? Jeffrey, the judge. If he's on Drag Race Canada, I'm going to need to start going international with my viewings, because if I could look at him every week, yeah, I'd be okay with that. Where'd they find him? What are they drinking in the water up in Canada? Holy shit. I don't think he bats for my team, but damn, that is a handsome man. Anyway, all right, and that is episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 7. Tune in next week to see who will be next to get the star and who's gonna get blocked. All we have are Raja and Yvie left who haven't got stars. Is one of them gonna get a star, or are we gonna start doubling up on stars? Once that happens, things are gonna start getting real. And it's gonna be rough because the ones who don't have stars then feel like really at the bottom, really at the bottom. And they only have so many chances to get stars because we're 4 episodes in and there's a total of 12. So like the clock's a ticking. You know, I'm on the edge of my seat. Head on over to my Law channel where I'm going to be simultaneously releasing a video about this Fairytale Justice and how it looks compared to Judge Judy, and whether Judge Judy and those TV court television shows are actually based on reality even a little bit. That's over on my Law channel. Go watch that next. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and this is available via podcast as well, everywhere you get your podcasts. If you're listening on podcast, maybe leave a nice review so it can get to more people. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.